Do you think the government's hiding something? Do you think this virus was made in the lab? Hey guys, welcome back to Tompkins TV, and if you're new, welcome. My name's Rachel. If you don't know, now you know. But either way, today's video is going to be a little different. I've been a little absent from the YouTube sphere. Just trying to prepare, as you can tell by the title, for this coronavirus. I've been following the story since it broke in January. If you don't know, I am a registered nurse. My background is critical care. So microbiology, epidemiology, all of that stuff is so interesting to me. I've seen the worst of the worst. And so, of course, anything that threatens the health of massive amounts of people always catches my attention. For some reason, when I first heard about this coronavirus in specific, I don't know, something just felt off in my spirit. China only had maybe 100 or, maybe a couple hundred of cases and just very few deaths. But when they put their major provinces, I think that's what they call them, under complete lockdown, my tin hat went off. It's okay, if it's not that bad, then why are you shutting down your entire economy for a virus? So yeah, I just wanted to just share some of my knowledge and some of my thoughts and some of the ways that I am preparing. So if that's something you're interested in, just stay tuned. Okay, so just so that way we're all kind of starting off on the same kind of neutral background, understanding of what the whole hoopla is about this virus, right? We have the flu, we have the rhinovirus, whatever, there's tons of them. Let's compare viruses to cookies. So we have our overarching type of food, which is cookies, viruses versus bacteria versus fungi. Hopefully this makes sense. I think figuratively, so just bear with me. So we have cookies, those are viruses. And then we have, let's say, chocolate chip cookies, which would be a coronavirus, which is a type of virus. It has that name because of the spikes, which looks like little crowns. I'm sure you've seen the pictures. And this virus in specific is the SARS-CoV, SARS-2, the cousin to SARS, you remember back in the day? But yes, so that would be the specific brand of chocolate chip cookies, Chips Ahoy. So with this SARS-2, I'm just going to call it that for lack of a better terminology, this virus is novel, which is new. So that means that there is no herd immunity. There's some speculation about some cases where people have been cleared of the infection and then ended up reinfected or testing positive again after negative positives or after a negative test. So that there's so many questions. I mean, just with anything that's new, that's introduced to humanity, there are questions that are unanswered. In the typical case, your body sees an invader, they attack, they create memory cells, so that way when that invader comes back, they're like, we already defeated you, I don't know why you're back here, and so you don't get sick. So the fact that people are getting sick again it's a little concerning. That's why this virus is of concern. It's new. We don't have any treatments for it. We don't know how it's evolving, whether it's mutating. We don't know. We have an idea of who is most at risk. But again, a lot of that information is not going to be concrete until this thing passes through humanity, essentially. What has me concerned, I live in the US, if you can't tell, is just the lackadaisical approach that our government is taking to this. I'm not saying anyone needs to go run out and jump out of a building and we're walking into, what's that show? Walking Dead territory. But there are some things that make my hair stand. The fact that we have known about this virus since late December, early January, and the US has tested less than 500 people. I mean, now we're starting to disseminate tests and that's why we're starting to see more numbers, but we sat at 15 cases for a good 2 weeks. And I just find that hard to believe because we did not stop travel to anywhere else. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a friend, a coworker, and she was telling me about her sister-in-law who literally just flew back in yesterday or the day before from South Korea, and we see the way that their case numbers are exploding. So the US has been very much profit over people, and that really bothers me. And the narrative that is being spun is just concerning. So this video isn't made to scare you guys, of course. It's just more so I just want you guys to be informed, and I feel compelled to share that because I am personally preparing for it. I just wanted to share some of the ways that this is different from the flu. We keep seeing it compared to the flu. My thing is, even if we want to go with that narrative, fine, okay. We know we're in the center, the dead center of flu season. And we have another deadly virus floating around on top of that. So we know that the flu kills. So it is concerning to me that there is another deadly virus floating around. So if you already are infected with the flu, your immune system's already compromised battling the flu, or vice versa. Let's say we, come down with COVID-19 and you come into contact with the flu. Your defenses are low. Not to mention in the US specifically, I don't know really the stats of other countries, but our comorbidity rates are through the roof. We have such a high demographic of diabetes, hypertension, COPD, so many other underlying diseases, asthma, that put you at a higher risk dying, to be frank. So that's what concerns me. They're saying that the death rate is potentially around 2%, maybe a little less than that. Death rate for the flu is 0.1. So I don't know about you, but those aren't chances I feel too comfortable with. As I talked about, I feel like our government has really dropped the ball on this. When I say that, I'm more so speaking in the sense that we are very short-sighted. We are very reactive versus being proactive. We've seen the stock market doing his wobble dance. Who knows what the heck's gonna happen with that? I'm looking at China and the measures that they took, and that's why we're starting to see their numbers kind of come down. Not saying I agree 100% with what the heck they've been doing, because I don't know. I don't know, that would scare the crap out of me. But let's say for some reason we do start to see the numbers like they have in China, which is not out of the realms of possibility because we're not doing anything to stop the spread of this virus. Well, let's think about that. So let's say we are under quarantine. What are the things that you would need in your house? Like I mentioned, I've been stocking up on food, non-perishables, your pastas, your spaghetti sauces, your canned vegetables. I've been getting just a lot of dried goods, beans, rice, things like that, which hopefully will have electricity to prepare those things because, it's someone's job to provide us electricity. It's someone's job to filter our water, to run the machines that filter our water. So those are the kind of things you want to, think about. And again, this isn't to scare you. It's just better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Another thing that I've been kind of stocking up on is water and water filters. So that way, God forbid, we've got cuts to the FDA, we've got cuts to the CDC. So I'd rather not take my chances. So been stocking up on juice, water, and then another thing, if God forbid you end up sick, I got a big thing of powdered Gatorade. So that way, if you're sick, one of the biggest things you want to make sure is that you're staying hydrated. You want to make sure you're maintaining your electrolytes. Let's say you're vomiting, throwing up. You lose a lot of electrolytes, which there's a whole cascade of effects with that, which can lead to heart arrhythmias. You just want to make sure that you're kind of staying ahead of that. Of course, that's a whole nother discussion, but that is something good to have on hand. And then also, you just want to make sure that you are looking at whatever prescription medications that you're currently taking, seeing if, making sure that your inventory is good for at least a month, I would say. Thankfully, none of us have any chronic illnesses, but we have had runs in the past with like bronchiolitis. So I've got albuterol on hand and a nebulizer. It's just a form of respiratory support if your airways start to constrict a little bit. Things that I've stocked up on are your cough and cold kind of medicines for the adults. They're not really recommended for peds or for kids, because if let's say you do come down with a cough, a cold, whatever, not only is it going to make you more comfortable, if you are one of those mild cases, which majority of us would be, you just want to limit your spread. So if you can kind of tone down the amount that you're coughing, then that lessens the amount of droplets that you're spreading through the air and potentially infecting your family. I've also stocked up on like immune support things. I've worked in the pediatric ICU. So my first year in the pediatric ICU, I was sick every single week with some new something because kids are petri dishes. But not until I got hip to airborne that I stayed ahead of the curve. So I've stocked up on airborne, elderberry. There's conflicting information on whether those work or not, according to Western medicine. But I can tell you, when I've taken them at the first sign of getting sick, I either have a really mild case of whatever, or it completely wipes it out. And you want to make sure that you have honey on hand. That's great for kids over 1 for helping with cough suppression. And also you just want to make sure that you have some kind of antipyretic, your Tylenols, your ibuprofen. And I guess with that, the caveat would be if your fever goes over 104, if you're creeping in 104, 105 category, at that point you might want to actually go have yourself seen. Another item that I've been items that I've been kind of stowing away is your toiletries, your soaps, things we don't think about. You might want to be able to wash your butt. That is a part of your hygiene. You want to be able to wash your hands. You want to have toilet paper. It's a convenience, and I enjoy toilet paper. You also want to make sure that you have, if you have just backup hand sanitizer, if you've got to go out, you've got something to clean your hands with. Of course, with that, you just want to use common sense. If someone's hacking and coughing, don't stand right next to them. I'm so thankful I don't live in New York, because when I was there and taking the train, it was a scary place. And I can't even imagine how freaking scary it is right now. So those are all the ways that I have been slowly kind of prepping over the past month. Like I said before, your health is your wealth. So anything that threatens that, to me, is a big deal. Again, this video is not meant to scare you. It's not meant to fearmonger. It's just a tool that is hopefully useful to you guys. Let me know if you guys would like to go live so we can talk about this in real time. Swap conspiracy theories. I don't consider myself a prepper by any means, but when something feels off, smells off, I'm going to take that and do what I need to do to try to set myself up for the most comfortable and least impactful ride that I believe is headed our way. So with that, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Have you guys been prepping? Have you, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think it's gonna just blow over? It's gonna be nothing? Do you think the government's hiding something? Do you think this virus was made in the lab? Let me know. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.